Want to turn that down a bit there. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, Wycliffe Barrett here, Xplane dedicated. I thought I'd just come on and do a very quick live stream because I haven't done one for a while, and I thought, let's just get on there and do one quick. So here I am, just doing a quick live stream. So I suppose what I should say is Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to all the dedicated and everybody else that tunes into the channel. And let's just turn that down a bit. There we go. Happy New Year to you all. I hope everybody's okay and that you've had a great Christmas and New Year, or as they say in other parts of the world, a happy holiday. It's that time of the year, of course, when we kind of look back, reflect on what has been going on, what's going on in the future, and stuff like that. It was something, everybody's doing it. They've been doing it all over Facebook and all over YouTube, and which is only to be expected because it is 2020, which is quite amazing, really, isn't it? That a year has gone by. So I thought I'd just jump on here and do a quick stream. So let's go to the desktop, and I'm just messing around with Traffic Global, finally giving it its correct name, and obviously I'm on the ground at Cardiff Airport, I think. And there's an aircraft on the taxiway that he's been there for ages. He's not doing anything. This is Traffic Global Traffic, if that makes sense. He's been on the ground for quite a while. So, he's on the taxiway, blocking the taxiway. He's not doing anything. He's not going anywhere. He's been there ages. So maybe he's having engine trouble or something. So I just thought, I'd come on. Oh, look at this guy here, Swiss International Airlines. He's really trucking along now. Yeah, he's really moving. Where's he going? Swiss International. He's going to CYUL, so he's going to somewhere in Canada. The A330, 300. Yeah, an aircraft I've yet to fly on. I haven't flown on one of those. I'd love to. So just having a mess around, as they say. I finally got Ultra Weather XP working the way that I want it to, and that is with the help of a couple of people who were watching on the YouTube channel, and they made a couple of suggestions, and it's working exactly the way I want it to, and it looks very nice. And as we can see, we can flit around here. Ultra Weather XP, Traffic Global. We use the radar setting in Traffic Global, so not only do we see different aircraft in different places, but we can see the weather in different places. We're out west of Wales, in West Wales somewhere, with that one. He's going to Belfast Aldergrove, so yeah, he's just heading out across the Irish Sea there. Let's see, Lufthansa here. Let's have a look at this Lufthansa aircraft. A350. He's going to KCLT. Wow. That's another aircraft that I've yet to fly on, the A350. Look at the weather here. This kind of weather front along here. Cirrus clouds, high cirrus up there. That's looking pretty good. Can we get on the ground? I was hoping to get on the ground at London, but I can't. There's another Flybe, another Swiss Air, Swiss International. We had a look at him. Jet 2, where is he off to? This is a glitch here in, I think this is going to be over the English Channel somewhere. I've noticed this before. This area here, this one area is a glitch. Or a bug, whatever you want to call it, and it's to do with Laminar Xplane, nothing to do with Ultra Weather XP. And you just go back a bit, you can see it a bit better there. you can go back to here. Oh, that's on the ground. You go to Air Trans out there, a bit northwest of that first aircraft. Can't see anything. Anyway, so I'm just having a mess around in the sim. I've got one of those horrible jobs on today where I'm having to reseal my kitchen floor. Ooh, American Airlines. What's happened there? He's at flight level 284 with his gear down. That is not going to go well for him. His gear's broken, that's for sure. Yep, definitely his gear is broken. So I'm having to reseal my kitchen floor. My kitchen floor is slate, natural slate, and you seal it, and then after 6 months you have to reseal it again. So that's what I'm doing. And I thought, whilst I'm waiting for one coat to dry, I'd come on here and wish you all a happy new year and reflect back on 2019 and kind of look forward to see, well, what's in my mind for 2020. So 2019, I didn't do a review video like I have done in the past at the end of the year. I didn't bother this year. And I'll tell you for why. Because one of the main reasons was that in many respects it was a year of stagnation in the Xplane world. And not... it sounds bad, it sounds as though I'm actually having a go, but I'm not. In terms of aircraft, there wasn't any wonderful new aircraft. Hi there, Ewan. Happy New Year to you. There wasn't any major leap forwards in terms of aircraft. It seemed as though we were all flying the same ones, which was the JAR Design A330, the JAR Design A320, what else? Flight Factors 767, 757, IXEG 737, and FlyJSim 727, and any number of general aviation aircraft. And there was quite a few of those. I have to admit, there was quite a few general aviation aircraft. He's still on the ground there. It's not going anywhere. And so, in terms of aircraft, there wasn't really anything that was revolutionary. I mean, we've got the MD-80, the Rotate MD-80, that was out a couple of years ago, but it's had a revamp, and Concorde came out as well, although that is really... it's a complex aircraft, and flying it on your own, it does take quite a bit, and it's in development as well. It's in continual development. Keep getting patches for that. The Magnite 787 came out, and I was fortunate to meet the guys who've been developing that at Cosford. Had a chat with them, and they're well aware that when they released it, it was a very early release copy, so to speak, and that is an aircraft in development. It keeps going on. They keep releasing patches for it, which is fine. If they had released it and then decided they weren't going to put out patches, or they only put out one patch and left it at that, then that would be annoying. But they keep releasing patches, and that's a good thing. One thing I did find out, oops, I didn't mean to put that up there. One thing I did find out in the year was that a lot of people have been making inquiries about the the Flight Factor A320, and they were wondering when it was going to be updated, etc., etc. Well, in actual fact, the Flight Factor A320 is the most updated aircraft on Xplane to date. Okay, and that is because they push out what Flight Factor do. You see, they don't make a big song and dance about things. And they've got the new updater, the auto updater. So basically, all you have to do is just click on an icon, and it updates. And a lot of people miss that. Okay, a lot of people don't see it. They just miss out. They think, it's not happening or something like that. They don't believe that it's being updated because they keep waiting for notifications, of which they won't get any because of the auto updater. So the responsibility is yours to update it, and it is the most updated aircraft in Xplane of last year. I remember when it first came out, it had an update, and there was like 120 fixes in that update alone, and it just keeps updating. And my advice is that every couple of weeks you click on the updater and it will update it for you, and you'd be surprised actually that they're always updating it, adding new stuff, making correcting stuff, fixing things, and it is really phenomenal the amount of updates it's had. Okay, and in fact, a lot of the aircraft around at the moment have had major updates to them. The JAR Design A320 has had a number of updates, and the JAR Design A330 as well. Now, they may not be released to public updates, but if you own the aircraft, you can go onto the forums and join the JAR Design Airbus forums, and you can get updates and beta, and so you can become a beta tester if you wish of those updates. And it's well worth going into that because once again, the guys from JAR Design, they do some great updates. So in terms of aircraft, that's been it for. We're waiting for some really nice aircraft coming out. There's people working on a Boeing 747 Queen of the Skies. I think they're working on a 747-400, as well as some of the later ones. We're waiting for the MD-11 that has been in development for, I think, just about over a year now. Everybody's waiting for that, and that will be a fabulous aircraft. It's being done by Rotate, I believe, and that will be absolutely superb. And I'm really looking forward to that. If you're looking forward to airliners, then those are at least two that are going to be rushing out there. Now, of course, I think Tolis have just announced they're doing the A321 to follow their A319. So that'll be really quite exciting as well, because Tolis are very good. They did a fantastic job on the A319. Was it the A319 or A320? A319. And I read an interesting article a few weeks ago where somebody was talking about this very thing, and what they were saying was they were talking about actually other developers coming to Xplane, and from developers from P3D, and what they were saying in this article was that basically there's probably not enough money in the Xplane arena for those developers, because they had aircraft like 737s and 757s and 767s, and we've already got those. We've got a slew of 737s. There's loads. There's the EADT 737, which is freeware and has been in development over a number of years. We've got the Flight Factor 737. We've got the IXEG, which I still feel is one of the best on the platform. We've got the Zebo Mod 737, which rivals PMDG in my view. We got loads of 737s, got loads of Airbuses, and there's only so many times that you can create a model. So for people to come over from P3D, there's probably not enough money in Xplane for them to develop for Xplane. So we're probably going to be left with the main players: Flight Factor, JAR Design, FlyJSim, Zebo, Rob Wilson, and a few others. And we'll probably be left with those guys who will continue to develop aircraft, because one thing about Xplane is that it takes a long time to learn, to acquire the skills to create and build aircraft, and these aircraft are incredibly complex. If you ever watch any of FlyJSim's build videos, you'll understand what I mean. They are horrendously complex things to develop. So that's the aircraft scene. In terms of scenery, then once again, it's a funny old world at the moment, because the scenery market is, you've got two aspects of it. You've got photo scenery and you've got airports. So those are the two kind of aspects of scenery development. Uh, photo scenery and airports. Now, in terms of photo scenery, in Xplane, there are two options. There's payware, or you can do your own Ortho 2XP. And with Ortho 2XP, you need a huge amount of space. I know people who've got terabytes upon terabytes of hard drive space, so they can create and develop the Ortho 2XP. And it's time consuming, and it can be hit and miss. All depends on the quality of the satellite imagery you get. Then, of course, you've got payware, where you pay a company, and they've already produced it for you, such as Orbex. And for my money at the moment, I think Orbex are doing incredibly well in this arena. They've gone a little bit quiet in the last few months because they're concentrating on some of their other revenue streams, such as P3D as well as Xplane. But in this last year, I think what they've done for the Xplane market is phenomenal. Mostly around the UK. So, they produced True Earth, Great Britain, North, Mid and South, and with a slew of airports for the UK as well. They've also been concentrating on some other areas of the world as well, and they've done those. And whilst I was very sceptical about Orbex coming to Xplane, I think they've done an outstanding job, and they really, really have done an outstanding job. So, that's like the photo scenery market. In terms of airports, once again, you've got two arms of the market. You've got the freeware market, and then you've got the payware market. Freeware market is very, very good when it's very good, and very, very bad when it's bad. Because a lot of people, they get Xplane and they think, I'm going to build an airport, and they build a Lego brick airport, and it may not stand up to much scrutiny. And then you get people like Mr. X6 who do fantastic, incredible airports, some that he gives away for free and others which are payware, but they are amazing. They're absolutely fantastic. And then you have people who do freeware airports which are equal to payware airports, and I really mean that. They are superb. So once again, in the airport scenery arena, you've got payware, you've got freeware. The payware people, they're not making huge amounts of money, but there are another group of people who do conversions from P3D FSX to Xplane, and there are a couple of companies that are actually converting. They're doing it on a commercial basis. So somebody who owns the original property in FSX P3D will come to them and say, can you convert this for Xplane? They do the conversion work, and they'll get paid for doing the conversion work, but the original publisher developer will still be getting money off the sales. It's a very complex arrangement, but there we have it. So nothing incredibly revolutionary. Once again, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine last night or the night before. We were talking about weather engines, and basically we both came to the a kind of same agreement that a weather engine is a weather engine is a weather engine. Cloud textures are cloud textures are cloud textures, and they all kind of do the same thing. They do the same job. They may do it differently. At the moment, I'm using Ultra Weather XP. I'm just showing you what it looks like at the moment, and I'm kind of happy with the way it looks now. Finally, I think it's finally gotten to what I would like it to look like, and it does look very good. I'm using Ultra Weather XP with Active Sky XP at the moment. My all-time favorite is Sky Max Pro. Make no bones about it, I am a Sky Max Pro fanboy. But at the moment, I'm using Ultra Weather XP, and it looks good. It looks good, I must admit. But weather, and I've said this countless times, is very subjective. If it looks good to you, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you're happy with the way it looks. And if you're happy with the way it looks, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks about what your weather looks like. It's what it looks like to you. And if you're happy, then it doesn't matter what you use at all. And as I say, it's very, very subjective. I'm looking at this at the moment. It looks very much like what I can see out of my window here at Cardiff in the real world. Gloomy in some parts and a bit dark and dank, and a bit brighter in other areas, but still a winter's day. So when it comes to weather, it's all over the place. Emma said then something about the problem with the Ultra Weather XP. I've got to try and find a car. Is the performance the sheer amount of options? The end user does not need all the options. Yes, I will agree with that. There are a ton of options. I tend not to use any of them. I kind of leave it on default, mostly. There are a load of options. You can change the sky colors, you can change the cloud textures, you can change the lighting at night, you can change all sorts of things. And the average user will not use all of that the same. And that's the same in anything. I mean, Active Sky XP has been out a year, 12 months, maybe just a little over, and they were promising that they would bring out the cloud texture pack to go with it. They haven't. Maybe because they're stuck in development hell, or maybe they've simply thought, well, hang on, there are a lot of cloud textures out there. Emma and I was talking about Xvision the other day. I haven't got Xvision, but I spoke with another friend, and he said it's cloud. It's no different from any other cloud textures or any other shader program or whatever. And I kind of think that that's true. When shader manipulation and cloud and weather manipulation was really revolutionary, there was a program for Xplane 10, which is sadly gone now. In fact, it became redundant as soon as Xplane 11 came out, and that was something called Real Terra Haze. And when that came out, it was revolutionary. It just knocked socks off anything that was about at the time. It really, really was good. And you could tweak it to just how you wanted it. But now you've got all these different programs, including Ultra Weather XP, which does exactly what Real Terra Haze did. I think Ultra Weather XP does a little bit more, but essentially the same. Anyway, so that is kind of the past year, 2019. What's ahead for 2020 with Xplane? Well, obviously there's the elephant in the room, Microsoft 2020, and that will have an impact. I think it will have an impact on all flight simulators. It's not going to be an immediate impact, so thousands upon thousands of people are not going to drop those simulators and jump to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I think that it will, it's going to have to re-establish itself in the marketplace, although it has got the Microsoft name behind it, and so that will, that will help it along a bit. But I don't think it's going to be, an incredible huge hit that everybody else thinks it's going to be. It's going to take a while. And obviously at the same time as that's running, P3D and Xplane and DCS and Flight Gear and all the others, they'll be doing the same thing. They'll be moving along as well. So it's going to be interesting. For Laminar, Xplane 2020, obviously the big thing is Vulkan and Metal. And basically that is a new way of reading or utilizing the architecture of your PC, whether it be a PC or a Mac. But at the moment it's in beta. A couple of people are running the beta, and as Emma has just said, don't get excited about it just yet. But once again, they are using betas, and at the moment I believe that that they're not having problems. It is just very buggy, and that's to be expected when you're working with the alphas and pre-betas and betas. So I think for the end user at the moment, just carry on what you're doing. When Vulkan and Metal come out eventually, in fact, I believe it's going to public beta pretty soon. They were talking about a couple of weeks, end of the month. But even so, that you'll have the option when Vulkan does come, you'll have the option to either use Vulkan or use the old OpenGL APIs, which is what we're all using at the moment. Some of the things that have been mentioned regarding Vulkan is there will be extra frame rates and there'll be less stutters, of course, but people are probably expecting wondrous visual things. A lot of what Vulkan is going to do is in the background, okay? So reduction of stutters and maybe increased FPS. From some of the data that I've seen, the increase in FPS seems to be greater with lower end machines than high end machines. But that's based on one set of data and graphs that I've seen, where the developer was using quite an old machine to test Vulkan, and the FPS was quite considerable. So everybody might see an increase, and I'm using my words. I'm choosing my words carefully when I say I might see an increase, possibly see an increase. In terms of any whiz bang features, about Xplane, no, you're not going to see anything different. So, like the image you're looking at now across Birmingham, out of Birmingham Airport, will still look like that after Vulkan or Metal if you're on a Mac. It will still look like that. It won't look any different. But what will happen is that stutters will disappear and FPS will increase, and that's the whole thing. Gives good. Right, so there we go. Emma, she's got a 980 graphics card on a laptop with Vulkan. It gives good FPS compared to OpenGL, but my 1080 on desktop, I missed it, does not increase that much, does not get that much of a bump, which is to be expected. As I said, from my understanding and some of the data that I've seen, graphs and such, it looks like lower end machines, lower end graphics cards get a real boost. And apparently, of course, if you're an AMD user, then you're going to be able to get the best out of it. Although my understanding after reading Ben Sucknick's latest vlog is that Vulkan is CPU bound as opposed to GPU bound, so it's actually spreading the load a bit better. But we wait and see. Like everything, we wait and see. So that's looking forward for Vulkan. In terms of anything else to do with Laminar, I know that there's a whole, like I said, there's a whole slew of aircraft being developed in the background. We're waiting for them to come on stream, and it's anyone's guess when that might be. I seem to remember something about Just Flight doing something, and I can't remember what it is. I think they're doing a 747. They're doing a 747 for P3D, but it's going to come to Xplane and something else as well. Anyway, in terms of Xplane dedicated, I think I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing. I keep making these wonderful promises. Yes, the BAA, the 146. Thanks, Emma. It is the 146, which will really be welcome because it is a lovely aircraft. It'll stop on a sixpence or a dime or a nickel, depending on where you are. It's absolutely brilliant aircraft. I look forward to that one, the BAE 146. Anyway, it was actually it used to have the nickname the Whisperjet, BAE 146 Whisperjet, and was also part of the Royal Flight. The Queen used to fly around in one of them all over the place. Very, very economical and efficient. In terms of XPD, I keep making these promises of certain things, but the one thing I can make a promise of is that nothing's going to change. Still going to put out YouTube videos when I can. I know that over the Christmas period I haven't done as many as I should, but that's because of Christmas, so we'll be getting back on top of that. And of course, Xplane dedicated. I will be doing a lot more controlling airports on that sim, and live streams like this. Facebook live streams as well. They'll pop up every once in a while, and someone's just landed here at Cardiff on Traffic Global. Who's that? So I think Jet 2. They don't. That is a bug within the program. Sometimes it was Birmingham, sorry, not Cardiff. Sometimes aircraft, they just disappear. They land and then they go off, and then they reappear as a taxi. And I don't know about that one. It was Jet 2 anyway, from what I caught a glimpse of. So yeah, Xplane dedicated. YouTube videos, Facebook group still going to be the same. I'm going to do more controlling as usual, and trying to do like a Saturday night controlling session every Saturday at Cardiff Airport and Bristol Radar. So Cardiff Radar and Bristol Radar, controlling the both of those on Saturday evenings. I may be joined by a fellow controller who will get onto Cardiff Tower, and so you'll have some good ATC out of the airport, in the airport. And if you want to come and try VFR, then yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay, I'm going to go because I think my kitchen floor will be dry enough for me to apply the new seal. So it's a hands and knees job now, putting this stuff on. It's going to be fun. I'll be shattered by the end of the day and my knees will be hurting. Okay, peoples, thanks for just popping in. If you didn't catch this live, you'll be able to watch it later on today. Look at all these comments here. Lawrence McDonald said afternoon, and I do apologise. Ewan Galloway, Stringbean, Emma, Mogu, who said the only good thing about Vulcan is stutter reduction. FPS gains will vary. Yeah, well, it may well, but we shall see. Like everything, we're going to have to wait. Anyway, Ewan, cheerio, and I'll see you all soon, very much in the near future. Kyle White, have a good one. Good work. Thank you, Kyle. I will see you all soon. Take care. If you're still on holidays, then great. I guess you'll be back to work on Monday. Take care, Mr. Barrett. Wishing you great 2020. Just call me Wycliffe. Don't have to use my surname. You can use my first name. No problem at all. Right, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care. Cheerio. I'm going to